So this past year, the Widening the Circle program invested more opportunity to dig into the practices of person-centered planning. We have been so fortunate to have the expert facilitation advice and how-tos from Jack Yates. Jack is a pioneer in this practice, and many of us have been provided the opportunity to learn directly through Jack's Train the Trainer sessions. And now we all have the ability to utilize this gift and implement these best practices. At this time, I welcome Jack to share more with us the value of person-centered planning while building relationships.
Thanks. So person-centered planning, I guess people could see that just as a mindset, which is true, and yet it's also tremendously valuable, at least when we can, once in a while, informally, on the edges or even outside the system itself, to have a band of people to be able to sit down together or on Zoom. To my surprise, it worked pretty much just as well on Zoom, and really stop and really think way into the future, and to ask not the question, what's a constructive activity on Tuesday, but to ask the question, who might this person become? So what we'll do now is share a short film, and you'll hear from me. My job was the conductor, you might say, as in an orchestra. And then to hear, though, also from Brooke and Sarah's mom, because Brooke and Sarah were connected with me through Lisa Drennan, who's in our call now too. And she kind of brokered that and was a coach for Sarah and Brooke to be able to be full participants in this series of sessions. And so we imagined who might they become. Go ahead. Got it.
Brooke and Sarah are very energetic, very social, very engaging young ladies, very involved in the community, very inquisitive. There's so much to them. And so when we got to the adult age, we selected Cardinal Cushing's adult program, which work hard to get them in the community and fulfill their goals. But again, that can only go so far. It only goes so far because it's how much the community will engage these individuals and give them those opportunities. So I've always been very happy with Cardinal Cushing, but I needed more for them. I just needed more for them. And it was my job to say, okay, what does the future look like for Brooke and Sarah? Especially, I've always, even before adult age, have known about this connection they've had with animals, a really uncanny connection. Not January of 2020, not COVID related, just said, you know what, I'm going to do this. I am going to start a doggy daycare for them. And I sent out a letter. Jack knows this story. It started with a letter. I just drafted this letter to family, friends, everybody in my address book, and just said, it was a beautiful picture of me, the girls, our two dogs, our two cats at the time. And we were sitting on the couch. It was a Christmas photo. And I said, to all my friends and family, we are going to do this. We are going to start a doggy daycare. And
it's an unusual situation in person-centered planning to start that focused already. Here's what we want to do. So right. Deb invited me to be the facilitator, or I like to call it conductor, actually.
Okay.
With an orchestra, right? Is that all the people who know Brooke and Sarah well, family, friends of the family, extended family, workers in the day program, workers who know them in other ways. And these people will be the ones who make the music. But the conductor still is not totally useless, that she or he will kind of set the tempo. And sometimes they'll give a cue. We'd like to hear from you, right? So what would we look at in this situation where Brooke and Sarah and Deb, their mom, had a very good idea that they were very agreed that that's the direction they wanted to go in. One question I asked everybody to talk about for, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes was, what gift does Sarah bring to our world? And then what gift does Brooke bring to our world on that? Then we asked, what is Brooke's calling? If there is such a thing, that somebody is destined to be a certain person or a certain kind of person, then who is that? What is Brooke's calling? And then what is Sarah's calling? And the answers were not surprising, and they had to do with caring for animals and really love for animals, but also for the animals' owners. Okay? And yet, I think it was still worth asking, because everybody then who was in this planning process together, including some human service folks, but family, friends of the family, is really kind of deepening this. Oh, this is not just an interest. Yeah, this could be like a calling in life, couldn't it? It's not a question we usually ask about people with disabilities, but we did. And so we had to get to the how. So among the Sarah and Brooke, the two principals in the business, what would be their division of labor? Would there be something a little more concentrated here or there? Would it be equal? Also, there would be someone that DDS through the ARC would be able to have a part-time support worker to help get this rolling, right? And then, other things in the how that people thought, well, there's going to have to be somebody who would train them. I mean, they have a natural, beautiful way with dogs, but somebody, a professional dog trainer to do. So all the little tactical details, you might say, and getting a number of people who know and care about Brooke and Sarah to make proposals, possibilities, suggestions, or to weigh in on that really enriched the kind of planning that could go into it.
I personally felt the person-centered planning process was so critical for me to hear what other people saw within my daughters, within us, within our idea. If it was validation, it was a big validation for me. When I heard from other people these gifts that they saw, even though I kind of knew those gifts were there, but now that other people saw those gifts, I needed to capitalize on that more, and not only that, but my girls, they said a lot of things during this person-centered planning that I didn't even think to ask them, because I was on my mission. And my mission was to create this business for them. But I almost forgot what other things were important to them. Not just, I will never forget what Brooke said when they were asked what's important from this person, the support person. And Brooke said for them not to give up. And I still get a little choked up over that, because she, and I didn't know this, she was very aware of how support people come and go. That was one of the first things that came out of her mouth. Stick with it and not give up. And it was like, wow. It was just wow, because that was important to her. Had I wouldn't have known that unless we had the person-centered planning. So it sculpted the road I took, some of the roads I took, and some of the things I did. So that's why the person-centered planning, I really hone in on when I'm talking to parents, that if you have the opportunity, regardless if you already have the idea, it's going to help you pave the way. And the person-centered planning was, for me, one of the easiest processes because of Jack. So if you have a conductor or a facilitator, they do all the work. They just ask me, who do you want to invite? Who are the people in Brooke and Sarah's life that you think that they would benefit from, the girls would benefit from having a part of this process? There's this whole new group of people that they were honored to be a part of this, I think, and they want to see it through and they want to see it successful.
You got all of the participants who are invested in this plan. They're going to try to make their own plan come true, say, because they were part of it.
I finally got a sense of relief from the person-centered planning that, whew, I'm not alone. All these people around the girls see them just like I do, and see what they offer the world, I think. And so many of the decisions that I made and so much of where we are at right now is stemmed from that person-centered planning process that we had.
Was within a few months, the business started and has been very successful.
But we have 17 customers. We do have a wait list. Every single time we do a post, I get 2 messages from, on Facebook. Oh, wow. Do you have any availability? We've been called the best daycare in town. All of our customers are in the community, and when we're out in the community, whether it be we go to the hardware store or we go to CVS, we're always seeing our customers, and they're always, it's not just a hello, it's my girls will stop and say, oh, so where is Buddy? Oh, well, he's at home. And, oh, how's he doing? We'll see. Is he coming Tuesday? Yeah, we'll see him on Tuesday. So they're really connected to the people within the community and also the businesses. We try to give back as a small business. Instead of going to Lowe's or Home Depot, I go to the local Dewhurst Lumber. Dewhurst, we have their dog. So we buy our supplies from them, and he in turn brings his dog here. This is what community looks like, and this is how we support each other, and it's a give and take. It's so wonderful, like what we've done. It's better than I have ever imagined that it was going to be. We have hit all of our goals and have exceeded. When I say goals, I'm not talking, financial goals. I'm talking girls' goals. I'm talking the well-being.
So person-centered planning. There are some states that were very clever, and they said, all the planning we do that's required by courts and by state commissioners is person-centered planning. Well, but that's not what we're looking at here. We're looking at the ways that a person, a family, a devoted staff member or manager could say, let's just gather the people who care the most, and some people who will be able to think outside the box, maybe some community members, some friends of the family who've never been asked, what do you think about Brooke or Sarah's future, right? And to gather them together and just to think it through out loud together. And so sometimes that really has paid off. And we don't always have a film about it, and they're not always such beautiful twins that we can put in the film. But I would say of the hundreds of times I've been involved over the years, usually invited by families, that it's always been worthwhile. It's always thought of some things collectively, cultivating, as Beth said, that any one smartest person in the equation wouldn't have thought of without thinking it through together. So we're starting through Pathways and, trying as one more way to sort of keep recruiting one-to-one, not advertising in a flyer, but recruiting one-to-one. Hey, could this be helpful? Could this be worthwhile for you or for your family? So that's something that's become, part of Pathways after it was pioneered 40 years ago. John O'Brien is on the call, and Beth Mount and some others, but it's something that we've tried to build in as a possibility. It's kind of a big production, yes, but it's always, as Deb, Brooke and Sarah's mom, said, that, wow, to get all these people invested in the plan, that's not just collaborating on conversation, that's collaborating on making a different world for this person 5 and 10 years down the road. Thanks.
Thank you, Jack. Wonderful examples there, and the real power of relationships through that person-centered planning practices just illustrated there.